He was found delirious in a Baltimore gutter, whispering the name Reynolds. No one knew who that was. Within hours, he was dead. This was the final scene in the life of Edgar Allan Poe, the man who invented modern horror and then became its victim. Before he died, Poe wrote of men haunted by guilt, of lovers buried alive, of voices that never stopped whispering. They weren't just stories, they were symptoms. Tonight, we are not reading his tales. We are investigating them to uncover how Edgar Allan Poe descended into the darkness he created. Poe's life began in loss. His father abandoned the family. His mother coughed blood onto the stage she died upon. He was 2 years old. Adopted by the wealthy Allen family, he gained comfort, but never love. That ache for approval turned into a hunger he carried forever. He fought with his foster father, gambled away his tuition, and wandered penniless through cities that felt like nightmares. Every time he found a stability, he destroyed it. What remained was genius, ink, and grief. Most writers hide behind fiction. Poe sharpened his pain into language. Where others saw ghosts, he saw symbols, fear, obsession, guilt. He believed beauty required death, that sorrow made truth visible. When his young wife Virginia began coughing blood, he watched the same story repeat, the woman he loved slipping into the grave. Out of that agony came Annabel Lee, the raven, and every heartbeat of the telltale heart. Each piece was another autopsy on himself. Listen to the raven. It isn't about a bird. It is about a man arguing with grief until grief answers back. Death, decay, obsession. These weren't subjects. They were coordinates in Poe's own mind. He turned fear into architecture. In the fall of the house of Usher, the crumbling mansion is his psyche, beautiful, doomed, collapsing from within. In The Black Cat, a drunk kills the thing he loves most, then buries it just as Poe buried every chance at peace. And the telltale heart, that's guilt with a heartbeat. He understood something most writers still avoid. The scariest horror isn't outside, it's inside, where reason and madness trade places. Poe didn't just write nightmares, he built frameworks. He invented the detective story, the murders in the Rue Morgue, long before Sherlock Holmes. He sketched early science fiction with tales of airships and voyages to the moon. He proved imagination could be rational and terrifying at the same time. But invention came at a cost. Publishers exploited him. Alcohol numbed him. He chased stability but lived inside storms. And yet, line after line, the madness produced precision, the paradox that defined him. By the 1840s, Poe was famous but broke, admired but isolated. His wife dying, his rivals mocking him. He wrote of premature burials and beautiful corpses. Every story blurred fiction and confession. Letters from the period read like suicide notes disguised as literary critic. He begged editors for work, wandered city streets half-starved, and drank to silence the noise in his head. When Virginia died, something in him collapsed completely. The next 5 years were adrift between brilliance and breakdown. In October 1849, Poe was discovered near a Baltimore tavern, delirious, wearing another man's clothes. He never explained what had happened. "Reynolds," he whispered, then silence. No autopsy, no clarity. The cause of death remains debated. Alcohol, rabies, conspiracy. But maybe the truth is simpler. He spent his life writing about hearts that wouldn't stop beating until his Owen couldn't keep up. Poe proved that horror is not about monsters, it's about memory, the guilt that survives us. He turned fear into philosophy, grief into architecture, and despair into rhythm. Every modern ghost story, every detective mystery, every psychological thriller still lives in his shadow. He gave us permission to stare at the void and describe what we saw. So the next time you read The Raven or The Telltale Heart, listen closely. You are not reading fiction. You are hearing a man documenting his own descent, line by line, beat by beat. If you made it this far, you are one of the few who walked the whole way down. Comment which Poe story still haunts you and follow for more investigations into the minds that builds our nightmares.